Sarah Borson-Keto. In conjunction with NAREIT's REIT World 2020 annual conference, I'm speaking today with Jeffrey Fisher, Chairman, President, and CEO of Chatham Lodging Trust. Jeffrey, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Glad to be here this morning.
So Chatham, like all lodging REITs, has been particularly hard hit during the pandemic. What signs of optimism would you point out to investors heading into 2021?
Well, the first thing we really like to talk about is just our current results, of course, because with our extended stay focus and our residence inns and Homewood suites, we've got some better than industry average results that we've been reporting. And tomorrow we'll report our third quarter results. In the second quarter, we did have the highest RevPAR of all lodging REITs. So that in and of itself, gives us some optimism as we look to next year, because that's a base that we think we can build on as the vaccine comes. And also simultaneously, people just with or without a vaccine incrementally get more comfortable with getting on an airplane. And we certainly can look at those airplane numbers every week and see that those numbers have been steadily increasing. So that together with, what we think and most people think, whenever that vaccine comes and whenever it gets widely distributed, and even if that's starting in the middle of 2021, there's some optimism on our part to think about as we look at the second half of next year.
Chatham has a large percentage of extended stay rooms in its portfolio compared to its lodging REIT peers. How has this impacted the company this year, and will it help as the recovery continues?
Almost 70% of our EBITDA, hotel EBITDA, is from extended stay hotels, and those are upscale extended stay hotel brands. As I mentioned, it's Residence Inn by Marriott and Homewood Suites, the Hilton brand. We've always specialized in those brands and that kind of business. In the pandemic context, that's proven to be very helpful, particularly with regard to the first responder business and other kinds of business. For example, National Guard, nurses, and even contractor type business that's working on projects in areas where our hotels are located, with a longer length of stay and the opportunity to have a kitchen in the room. Obviously, with restaurants being closed or partially closed or occupancy limited in almost all jurisdictions, that's really been helpful insofar as being able to attract that kind of business to those hotels.
Finally, when people begin traveling again for business and vacations, what sorts of changes can they expect to find at Chatham properties, particularly related to health and safety concerns?
We've all read about what the brands are doing. And of course, all our hotels are either Marriott or Hilton branded hotels for the most part. So we're, on the forefront of being involved with the brands as they've formulated their policies, their protocols relative to cleaning and safety. And I've sat, for example, on the Marriott Residence Inn TRIA board, the franchise board, for a lot of years, and involved in those conversations. So whether it's the purchase of certain equipment to be able to disinfect that room, whether it's the protocol and of sealing off doors and making sure guests know that they have in fact been cleaned properly. And of course, we're spending more time and more money doing that for checkouts. On the other hand, people are staying longer, so that cost is getting offset a little bit, in our hotels, due to the fact that these folks really don't want you in the room anyway. And we're talking to guests as they check in and seeing whether they want any kind of service or not as they stay over in the hotel. And frankly, right now anyway, most people don't. So that's been, I think, very helpful and certainly user-friendly for the guests in our hotels.
Jeffrey, thanks so much for joining me today.
Well, Sarah, that was great. I appreciate the time this morning, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thank you.
And for more news and information from REIT World, be sure to visit NAREIT's website, REIT.com.